Congratulations! You've connected with the Pulpit Perspectives podcast. Join Reverend Dr. Kent Lundy as he connects with pastors where they preach, literally at the pulpit of their church. It's a point of view with purpose and personality that informs and inspires with real life stories from great preachers you need to know. Your host is Reverend Dr. Kent Lundy. Let's join Kent at a pulpit with a fresh perspective from his guest preacher.
Greetings and welcome to Pulpit Perspectives podcast. I'm Reverend Dr. Kent Lundy, your host. Pulpit Perspective podcast exists to create connections amongst clergy and their churches. Today I'm standing with the Reverend Brian Smith in a huge rotunda of a sanctuary at Warsaw First United Methodist Church. What a beautiful space. Brian, welcome to Pulpit Perspectives podcast.
Thank you, Kent. It's an honor and a privilege to be with you.
Well, thank you. Glad to have you. So we usually do this standing literally at the pulpit, thus Pulpit Perspectives podcast. But I notice we're not standing in the pulpit. Why is that?
Because the pulpit serves a purpose. It holds items that I need at the beginning of the service. After that, it serves no purpose to me at all. Because I like to move around.
Oh, you are a wanderer.
I am a wanderer.
Well, good for you. All right. Well, how long have you been at Warsaw First as senior pastor?
So we have been here, my wife and kids and I have been here since 2018. So we're coming up on 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah.
Lovely. All right. So what are you currently celebrating?
Couple of things. Celebrating our two kids graduating from Ball State in May at the same time, in the same place. Yeah. That was our concern, is that they were going to graduate at different times.
Yes.
How we were going to coordinate all that.
Okay.
The other thing I'm celebrating is just some of the new life I'm seeing in the church amidst all of the changes that are happening.
Wonderful. That is great to bring that hope and that perspective of new life, especially this time of year.
Exactly.
Wonderful. So who inspired your call to ministry?
The primary inspiration for me was my youth director when I was in high school, who felt a call to pastoral ministry himself and had begun the process in the United Methodist Church. And he and his wife had a great impact on me in my spiritual walk. And I think an impact on me when it comes to discerning my call to ministry.
And where was that at?
So that was in actually my finally giving up to the call to ministry happened after my wife and I had married and after I had run a number of years from it in North Carolina. So I had actually not had a lot of interaction with my youth director from high school at that point. But I think following that thread through life, the influence that he had on me, it finally came to fruition when I gave up running away and said, okay, God, I'm here and I know that you're calling me.
So let's just linger there for a moment. So what I hear you saying is these seeds were planted when you were a teenager, but they really didn't take root until much later.
Exactly. Much later.
Much later.
Yeah.
Wow. So what a word of affirmation and hope maybe for all of us that work with young people. To know that sometimes you don't see, or maybe a lot of times you don't see instant results.
And I think the hang up for me was I had in my mind what person called to pastoral ministry looked like. And it was at that point, it seemed like the right way, but looking back on it, it was distorted. And so I thought there's no way I can fulfill that role because in my image, my mind of a person that's called to pastoral ministry was somebody who had it all figured out, right? Their life was all figured out. They had reached this plateau in their spirituality. And I thought, you know what? I'm not there. And honestly, if I had to be honest, I don't know if I'm ever going to get to that point. And so through the wrestling with God over the years, I finally realized, you know what? That's a false perspective. And so it took some years, but finally got to that.
So it sounds like you came to the truth in more than one way.
Yes, absolutely.
The truth of your calling, the truth of who you were and are, and the truth of what a pastor really is.
Yes.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. So what do you do for fun?
Well, this time of the year, I love watching NCAA basketball tourney on television. And so I'm looking forward to that for this time of the year. But what I love to do in general is I love sports of all kinds. I love to play sports of all kinds as far as my body allows me to.
Yes.
And I also love getting outside and just like digging in the dirt, doing gardening things. So this is a special time of the year as the NCAA tournament comes on, as spring comes on. So excited about that.
So who in particular are you cheering for in the tournament?
So I am cheering by virtue of being married to my Purdue alumni wife. I'm cheering for Purdue.
Okay.
But as she would attest, that's very frustrating, but I'm going to stick to it and cheer them on.
Go Boilermakers. All right. Great. So what is your go-to Bible verse?
My go-to Bible verse, and there are several, but the one that stands out to me is Proverbs 3:5-7. Trust in the Lord with all of your heart and lean not on your own understanding. And in all your ways acknowledge him. He will direct your path. That has been sort of a strength scripturally for me for years.
So practically speaking, how does that inspire or shape?
It reminds me that I don't have it all figured out. It reminds me I don't have to have it all figured out. It reminds me that I have to put my entire trust in God because God does have things figured out. And I can trust God with that. And I'm learning. I'm not there, but I'm learning. That's why it continues to be my verse because I'm thick-headed and I don't get it a lot of the time.
Yeah, me too. We should start a club.
Yes, the Proverbs 3 Club.
Well, I was thinking the Thick-Headed Disciple Club,
Thick-Headed
but okay,
Disciple Club.
well, we'll go with your title. That sounds more appropriate. But yeah, all right. Well, this next question probably might blend in well, and that is, who or what keeps you humble?
Yeah, the truth that I don't have it figured out and I have to rely on God constantly. I have to rely on the Spirit leading and giving me strength from moment to moment. That keeps me humble. And if I don't get it, there's people in my life that will remind me that I don't have it all figured out and that I do need to continue to trust fully in God. And I'm grateful for those most of the time.
If not in the moment, maybe in retrospect.
At least in retrospect and looking back. Yep.
Right. Yes. I find I am more grateful in retrospect
Yes.
sometimes because I'm so thick-headed. It's like, oh, yeah.
Part of that club. Yep.
Yes. Yes. All right. Well, if you only had one preacher to listen to for the rest of your life, what preacher would that be?
You know what? Until yesterday, I would have given you a different answer. But we have a young lady who's coming up and feeling a call to ministry through Celebration United Methodist Church. And I had a chance to hear her preach yesterday, and it was incredibly powerful. So I will say Bailey is my new favorite person and most inspirational preacher at this time.
Oh, a young person.
A young person just exploring the call to ministry. She hasn't even declared candidacy, but she is feeling that call, and she's had, thanks to Pastor Stacy Downing at Celebration, has had chances to stretch and fly. So it's been exciting to see that.
That is very inspiring. Awesome. Thank you for that. So who are you, Mary or Martha?
Both. But I think most of the time I'm more Mary. I'm more tend to sit at the feet of Jesus. But there are certainly times, especially times when I feel like I should have control and I don't, that I'm jumping in there and frantically trying to make things happen, and I become a Martha. So yeah, I'd say a little bit of both, but mostly Mary.
Martha by choice or by circumstance?
Martha by circumstance, I think, more than anything.
But good for you for having that awareness that it's time to be Martha, and then it's time to be Mary. So a cyclical nature to that.
Yeah, season for both.
A season for both. Yeah. All right. So who from the Bible would you like to go axe throwing with?
Gideon.
Okay. Say more.
Because I so much identify with Gideon's story, and just to see how Gideon had to fight through his own limitations, self-limitation, to be able to do what God had called him to do. and to see the mighty feats that he was able to accomplish because he finally gave in. Said, okay, God, you say so. I'll take the first step. I don't believe it's going to happen, but I'll take the first step. So I would love to have I don't like to axe throw, but I would love to have time with him just to hear his story again from first perspective.
Okay. Well, who knows? He might have a perspective on axe throwing that wasn't recorded in scripture.
I would rather throw Yahtzee dice with him.
Oh.
But axe throwing, if that's my only option, I'll take it.
Okay. Yahtzee dice or axe. Okay. I like it. So what is your favorite church season?
I would have to say it is Advent, just because of the wonder and the awe of anticipation for God to move. I almost feel guilty about not saying the Lenten season and Easter time, but because those are powerful. But for me, just the wonder and the awe and the expectation and the anticipation. Not that there isn't in the other seasons, but I would have to say Advent.
Advent? Yeah. That's a good one. All right. Thank you. So what do you hope your fellow clergy know?
I think I would want them to know first and foremost how incredibly precious they are in the eyes of God. And I know we know that theologically to some degree. We know that in our minds. We're supposed to know that and preach that and say that, but to really grasp that, Paul prays that we would be able to recognize the love of God, the width, the depth, the breadth of God's love. And that would be my first and foremost hope, that they would really grasp that, not just with their heads, but with their whole being.
Okay.
And that's my prayer for me. I'm still working on it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. Okay. Thank you for that blessing. All right. Last question. So you get 3 words to encompass and encapsulate what you hope will be the focus for your future here at Warsaw First United Methodist Church, whether that's a long time, short time, whatever, doesn't matter. But what 3 words come to mind when you think about your future of being senior pastor here?
I would have to say, and they go hand in hand, love and grace. Grace, life, and unity. Grace, life, and unity.
Grace.
And by life, it's the eternal life that we can experience, not just for the future, but now. So that abundant life that Jesus talks about. So grace, abundant life, and unity going forward for Warsaw First United Methodist.
And what a blessing it would be for Warsaw First United Methodist Church if and when those words are embodied here in community based on your servant leadership. Be a pretty amazing day. And that will be my hope and my prayer for your future together. Grace, thank you, life, and unity. Well, Reverend Brian Smith, thank you for being on Pulpit Perspectives podcast. It's been a joy to have you as a guest.
It's been a joy to be with you as a guest.
Well, thank you. So Pulpit Perspective podcast.
That's hard to say.
That is hard to say. Who came up with that title?
Oh.
Pulpit Perspective Podcasts exists to create connections amongst clergy and their churches. If you want to learn more about the exciting things happening in the United Methodist Church in the North District here in Indiana, would invite you to check out the Facebook page and also the website of inumc.org. inumc.org. Check them out. Lots going on. God is on the move in the North District. This is Reverend Dr. Kent Lundy signing off for now. Thank you.
There you have it. A fresh perspective from the pulpit with a great preacher. You know you want to hear more. You can do just that by connecting with Pulpit Perspectives with Reverend Dr. Kent Lundy on Apple Podcast and Spotify, where you can like and follow the podcast. What's more, you can spread the good news about Pulpit Perspectives in your church and with your neighbors. Plan now on joining Kent at the pulpit, where you'll meet another great preacher on Pulpit Perspectives.